You know, over the years, a lot of people have suggested that I plant more fruit trees. And while it didn't make much sense in the beginning, I did plant them pretty quick. And well, I guess it didn't make much sense then either. Today I'm going to plant some more fruit trees. But what happened in the past was, well, they simply died. And it's because the environment out here is pretty brutal. It sounds like I'm... Oh, what is that? Oh my gosh. I made a huge mistake. So, at one point I had an apricot tree. I had a couple different apples, a Honeycrisp and a grandma apple. Those apple trees, well, the apricot didn't last more than a few months. The apple trees lasted over a year, but eventually died. And I had the apple trees. I had one. Oh, you see where this is the apple tree. It's still there. So there was this apple tree. You can see it's got a little tag on it. The wind killed it. And I had another apple tree over here, and the wind killed it. There's just too much open area. But you can see now I've put up about 80 feet of fence over here. And in fact, last night I went ahead and dug a nice hole and I put in a peach tree over here. So the wind block, this will make a big difference, I believe. Not only is there wind block here, but there's some more wind protection with the tree and the deck there and the shop over here. Also, I have swells that run all the way to the corner of the property that bring rainwater down, that fill the pond, and the pond overflows just a little bit and it fills these areas. And so as I dug down, that ground was all moist. And that means that it's more likely to hold water and be more sustainable. So this is a Reliance semi-dwarf peach, and of the options I had, this one would do the very best outside. It's really tolerant to the cold, and I'm in the high desert, so it does get pretty cold out here. You know, for the high desert, this is a pretty green area around my pond. This is actually a goji berry. I have a lot of wolfberry, which are native, but I planted actual goji berry all the way around the pond, and there's a lot of these little plants that have done well without being watered. The water that is held every year from the pond filling and overflowing a little bit and saturating the ground around the pond has held enough water for all these different plants. So now I've had a mulberry tree down in the geo for, I think it's about a couple years, so it might fruit this year. And now I've got 2 new peach trees and an almond tree. Two more, so 3 total that'll go in the geothermal, and then this peach tree that's over here. These pots along the side of this greenhouse, those are all bamboo, by the way. I had a bunch of bamboo seed, and I hear they're not very reliable, the seed, but we'll give it a try. And here you can see, let's see there's the peach tree right behind me. This is the mulberry that I've already had for a long time, and then in the back, that's the almond tree. This is part of what I've been building is, working on systems that actually work out here. I'm also doing a small live session on May 16th for anyone who's working through the path. If you pick it up between now and May 15th, then you'll get access to that as well. Anyway, let's get this one in the ground. So I decided to, instead of putting these directly in the beds, I'm putting them on one side of the walkway close to the beds. And that way, the way the geothermal is designed, they'll have about, well, this is about 12 feet to the top, and I'll just trim my trees back. Also, this is a low point in the geo, there's moisture in the ground here. So I'm going to dig it nice and deep, put down some nutrient-dense compost in the base, plant it, cover it in some more mulch, and I'll let it take it from there. So I've got a couple pretty massive composting bins outside here, and I'm just bringing in a shovel scoop here. So, ooh, I dug the hole pretty deep for obvious reasons. That gives me a little, well, I want this to be in there so it has more room to grow, and it gives me room to put some nutrient dense soil at the bottom there. I'm no expert gardener or anything, but seems like this should work. So once I put this in here, then I can cover, you know, the hole's a little large, so I can put some more healthy soil around it and on top of it. And the stuff that they have in here already, I'm not too worried about, you know, keeping a lot of it. Some of it's good because I think it has a little bit of that peat moss, but the real dense soil is more important, I think. So if I can just kind of carefully spread out the roots here, and the reason for putting this almond back here is it's a little more temperature controlled than the front because there's more ventilation up there, and peaches actually do pretty well with cold weather. So this guy will have all the protection it needs. There we go. There's plenty of room now to add probably 3 or 4 shovels full of compost. And I can reuse these down the road. So if you pay attention, if you can see into the background here, compost. All right. So this is the best compost I've had after all the years I've been out here. Whew. Oh boy. Wow. You know, I didn't think that I could add an entire bucket, but I did, so oops. That'll be perfect. Lots of nutrient density for that bad boy there. Whew. Okay, so we'll do that one more time for the peach tree. That seems pretty logical to me. So, probably just inside of that. That'll give it quite a bit of room to grow. It's still a ways away from the mulberry. I'll cut them accordingly. Cut them back accordingly. Oh, I thought that was going to be harder, like the other spot. Okay. There we go. Huh. It's just reflecting the sound really well. It's interesting. I wonder if this is part of the mulberry root system. It's about 4 to 5 feet away, but it sounds like oh, what is that? Oh my gosh. I made a huge mistake. Duh. I just cut the geothermal tubing. That's why I could hear echoing through the geothermal tube. Ooh, it's heating up now. That's one of the funny things. That's one of the funny things about the high desert is it'll be pretty cold in the morning and then it warms up pretty quick, especially when you're digging holes for fruit trees. So I'm just going to treat this like a plumbing situation where I broke a line. I'm just going to clear out a larger hole. I'm trying to make it so you can hear me. I'm going to clear out a larger hole so I have room to work, and I can just patch this tubing with another piece of tubing. Okay, so I've got a piece of tube here. There's actually 200 feet of this underground, and I pump air through it because it changes the temperature. So basically this stays about 30 degrees cooler in the summer and about 30 degrees warmer in the winter. And I just cut through that tubing, so we'll go ahead and patch it. I'm going to carefully dig out the hole and patch that. It's been years since I did this, and so I don't know, it just slipped my mind, but what I'll do is carefully, after I patch this, I think I'll just dig over, and I'll do it carefully, and then probably plant the tree over here so the roots can go down and not disturb the tubing. So I was able to just cut the ends and squeeze them and slide them into this tube, and I'll bury this again. I'm just going to work my way over for a minute. I was able to dig it out so that I have space in between. I actually found more tubing on this side, but there's about 2.5 feet. I'm just going to center it and let the roots go down between them. Also, I'm just going to pick these off. Just in case, I don't want to bury them, you know. Okay. Okay, now I can fill the hole with the good manure or the compost. How's it look? This is a Red Haven peach. We just went from having roughly 1 fruit tree on the homestead to having 4 if you count the almond tree. So these peaches are dwarf variety. Oops. The almond is not, but I think I can just prune these back so they're about 12 feet tall. Maybe focus on making them a little bit bushy instead of tall. Don't forget I'm doing a small live session on May 16th for people who are working through the path. If you pick it up between now and the 15th, you'll get access to that as well.